Juventini. Welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel where it's all Juve all the time. I'm Alberto. I got Raph with me today, and we are going to break down Juve's 2-0 victory against Salernitana. 2-0. It could have been like 6, but, we haven't been clinical. And, the first half was a great watch. I did a live reaction watch along with a bunch of you, and it was great until the second half. It became very, very hard for me to fill the air because there wasn't much action. But Raph, we're gonna get to all our thoughts on this one. You've been putting in overtime this weekend with the Match Day Live, helping out Cliff on stoppage time with a great episode. I loved the buy and sell, by the way.
My favorite part as well,
your
man.
thoughts on Lautaro, but that was good stuff. And then,
hilarious.
let's see. We've got some joining us right out of the gate here. Ciao tutti. Let's go, guys. KM, sometimes good. Sometimes... yeah. I feel that. We got a little bit of news on Monday morning, too, in terms of contract with Dybala. And basically, the meeting was today at 11 or 12 Italian time. And it's ended basically, and that's it. Now you're going to get a bunch of accounts probably tweeting that it's done deal, all this, but they're all parody accounts. None of the big guys have actually said anything has been accomplished. But let's get to the task at hand, and that's Juve Salernitana. Unfortunately, our highlight clips are not popping up here, but we'll talk about the key points as we go through it. We'll kick off with the starting lineup. We covered it in the Match Day Live, and it pretty much was the exact same lineup that was projected, other than Perin did not start in goal, and everything else pretty much remained the exact same. And that was with Danilo playing out of the midfield. Okay. And basically, if we look at that, you had Szczesny, DeCilio, Delict, Chiellini, Pellegrini, Quadrado, Danilo, Artur, Rabiot, with Dybala, Vlahovic up top. And really, it is what it is. The interesting part was how they showed it in most graphics, because Danilo was not at the heart of the midfield, but that is how he in fact played yesterday, was at the heart of the midfield. I looked at the lineup. I thought, okay, it's fine. There's no issues, but it does raise a question against Salernitana. There were a few questions. Number one, risking Vlahovic, because if he gets a card, he would be basically excluded from the intermatch. Pellegrini was another one of those players that was at risk, and then Morata was the third. So there was a few question marks, but overall, I mean, it's Salernitana playing all these players. I thought, we might be struggling a bit to create or whatnot, but I was wrong in the first half. Raph, your thoughts on the starting lineup?
Well, I think we covered it yesterday. I wasn't too happy about the starting lineup, simply because it's like we have the midfielders in the team, but simply because of their age, they don't start. Like, it's frustrating. But at the end of the day, Salernitana, so it's one of those where we should get the job done either way. And I feel like in the first half, he could have been like, oh, like, wow, like this team was ticking, like we were all over them, we were creating like as many chances I've seen an Allegri team create. Like it was a great first half with the team that we put out. Danilo was doing his job in the midfield. So judging off the first half, there weren't too many complaints by the end of it in terms of the starting 11.
Yeah. And now KM's got some thoughts as to why the drop. I think we were not able to perform at our best in the second half since our players are very tired. We're going to get to that. So real quick, I tried to bring up the highlights like we usually do on the post-match podcast. Unfortunately, having a little bit of technical difficulties. But what I will do is we'll kind of scan through and discuss them. Basically, it didn't take long for Juventus to strike in this one. Okay, so basically in the 5th minute here, you've got Vlahovic allowed with so much space. Okay, pretty shocking stuff, but he got so much space in the area. Quadrado was with the ball at the right flank there. He passes it inside to Vlahovic. Dybala basically makes a great run inside, and Vlahovic has enough time to settle the ball, turn and look, lay it right in front of Dybala, who makes a great cut in and just hammers that thing short side post and in. So Juve is off to the races. Fantastic goal there. And then we'll go a little further in, and Vlahovic basically, he gets an opportunity off of the next one's Dybala on a breakaway. Quadrado with a great ball through. Dybala, a fantastic run, finding himself all the way on the left side. And I don't know how any team could be taken seriously when you lose a guy like Dybala like that, and he runs in behind you. He does well to control, gets everything right, and then right in front of goal, he ends up popping it over the net. Big miss. Should have been 2-0 there. And then you have Dybala again at the heart of it. This guy was on fire. And we'll talk about this too afterwards as we take a break on the first half notes. But he spins his defender, and he's got Vlahovic all alone. Like Salernitana, in the words of Anthony, they stink. Like they stink. So Dybala turns him. He's got Vlahovic all alone. He unfortunately takes a touch. I thought he should have one-timed that opportunity when it's coming across goal like that, reading the keeper, but he waits too long and his shot's gone, and he just ends up putting it right at the keeper. And then Vlahovic will in turn redeem himself a little bit later on as it's DeCilio on the right flank, taking a couple steps just to get by his guy, just to get enough to cross it in. He does. And it's just out of the reach of the keeper as he can't, he second guesses himself about running out to it. And Vlahovic is there with a great leap, beating his man. It's 2-0 Juventus. And you get a couple opportunities, mostly Bonazzoli from Salernitana. He has a good rip short side that just goes wide. But outside of that, really, it was all Juve. We're going to stop there at the first half kind of mark. And what was great was that the guys that were all involved in that nonsense with, the training issues, Danilo, Quadrado, Dybala, that were all, involved in that. They were playing great. Quadrado was great. Dybala was an absolute maniac out there. And that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see that positive reaction. This was a great first half from Juventus, moving the ball well. But the difference stands out so drastically from one half to the next. And it's something we always talk about. It's that tempo. It's that pace of play. And the movements off the ball are what were big in this first half. So, Raph, let's just get some of your thoughts in that first half before we get into that second half.
Yeah, again, first half was one of the best first halves I've seen from us this season, albeit it's Salernitana. But I was saying to someone, I was like, let's enjoy it while it's here, because I don't know when the next time we're going to see a first half like that again is. Like, it was just constant pressure. Even when we went one goal up, like, we didn't sit back immediately. We kept on pushing for the second goal, and we could have had 3, 4, maybe 5 by the end of the half, simply just down to how well we were playing. So that's why, for me, it was very minimal complaints about the 11, because of just how much we were piling the pressure on, trying to get those goals. Everyone seemed fired up for it after the Champions League humiliation, and that's all we want to see, really. We don't want to see, tiki-taka, champagne football. We just want to see some initiative from the team, just not sitting back straight away after taking the lead. Just keep on going at a team, just dominating the game. That's all we want to see, and it was cool to see that in the first half.
Yeah. And we will get to the second half. There's a lot of thoughts coming in here in terms of why the drop and whatnot. But let's talk about, I'll just kind of quickly scan through. We'll talk about some moments out of that second half and whatnot. We did actually get a couple opportunities. One fell to De Ligt's feet in the area off a corner kick. Goalie did well to just swallow it up before any rebounds as Juve was swarming there. And then you have Verdi ended up subbing into the match for Salernitana, and we allowed this guy so much space to operate. It was crazy. He forces a stop at the left side for Szczesny. Szczesny's right. routine save, but still forces a stop there. Then Juventus had another opportunity. Danilo with a nice through ball for Vlahovic. This time he decides to one-time this thing from bad angle, forces the goalie to make a save there, low and hard. And then Pellegrini ends up getting a header. And then you'll have Salernitana with a great volley from Bonazzoli there that is stopped by Szczesny, and that's your match. But again, a really, really dull performance in the second half for Juventus, and all those good things that we mentioned before in the first half, the movement off the ball, the energy, the way we were moving the ball, just the pace, quickly hitting those passes, that all kind of stops. And it's everybody's guess as to why. Okay. You have some in the mentions here in the live chat saying that it's just the players are very tired. Okay. Swarit believes it's a lack of quality options off the bench, are proving to be an impediment in every match. Imagine the likes of Chiesa, McKennie, Zakari coming on yesterday instead of Keane and Bernardeschi. I mean, does this not kind of still play to the whole narrative that, you've got a guy like Miretti there, and he is a midfielder. It's Salernitana, and you could see in this game that even with a few of those opportunities here and there, it's very toothless, if we're being honest, right? So I don't know. For me, it's just like, and it's not a huge deal, but it kind of is if we're talking about our players being tired. If it's at the point that we don't know, it's all speculation. Okay. So we don't know, it's all speculation. But if there's arguments developing at the training grounds with the speculation that possibly some of these players are trying to lighten the load, so to speak, on the training, does it not make sense to use a young, fresh leg kid just to get you by 20, 30 minutes in a match against Salernitana to keep that energy level up and whatnot? Because I don't know. For me, is it the players being tired? Is it a mentality thing? Is it actually instructed by Max? Is like, I don't know, because this is not exclusive to this season. Am I right there, Raph? Like, this has followed Juve along here for probably about, I'd say, a year and a half into Max's finish to his first tenure with Juve.
Mm-hmm.
Juventus, this has been a trend that I can date as far back as Max's cutoff in the first tenure, and then with Sarri, with Pirlo, like just very, very few 90-minute performances from Juventus. It's, I don't know. I think there's something more to it. What do you think, Raph?
I don't know. I feel like if we're going just off the game yesterday, the speaking of lack of quality options coming off the bench, it's Salernitana, man. Any player that comes off the bench from our team is of the quality to beat this team and to keep keep the tempo up. I mean, to go into the second half against Salernitana, one of the worst teams ever seen in this league, and to lose the possession battle at home and to be outshot at home in the second half, like, I can't put that down to lack of quality options off the bench, because Miretti will walk into that team any day, Keane will walk into that team any day, Morata will walk into that team any day, Bernardeschi will walk into that team any day. So, I mean, this isn't an Inter game where I would say that, if coming off the bench, they might have someone like a Vidal who's probably better than a Miretti at this stage, albeit he's incredibly talented. It's not something that I 100% agree with. But again, on the flip side of it, when we're talking about for the last 2, 3, 4 years in terms of sustaining a 90 minutes thing, we know it's down, like a part of it comes down to the players, simply because we've known for years that these players simply aren't good enough, and they maybe don't have a mentality like Rabiot, who we see week in, week out. There's so many clips of him where not even in the first half, there'll be like a loose ball, you'll see him just give up on it, and then meanwhile Chiesa comes sprinting through to grab the ball. So we know that part of the mentality of sustaining this comes down to the player. But in regards to yesterday, again, from what we've seen time and time again this season, it's a 50-50 thing with the manager and these players that are just not up for it.
Yeah. Let's get to we've got breaking news. Everybody's already talking about in live chat. We knew that Paulo Dybala had a meeting today with his entourage with Juventus, and unfortunately it appears that Dybala will not be renewing with Juventus. Okay, official. Romeo Gresti, Giovanni Albanese, and Fabiano Della Valle, everybody is out and Dybala is gone. Raph, stay with me, bro. Stay with me. Stay with me here, man. We are going to get into this immediately here. So, Raph. Okay. He needs a minute. He needs a minute here. We are going to have to sort this here. So, Dybala. Wow. There's a lot of speculation about many of us Juventini seeing that this could possibly be one of the outcomes in terms of Paulo Dybala and what's happening there. Okay. And we all kind of figured that this could be happening, that the fact that we could be losing him on a free was a real possibility. It's still shocking, even though many of us could see that that might be a possibility. I said for a long time, many of us said for quite some time that, you shouldn't let him go for free, even if you wanted to move him along here. But basically the latest one was 7.5 or 7 around there, plus 3 something in bonuses that were reflected in incentives and appearances. And now, unfortunately, it appears that the meeting that didn't last very long, a couple hours, is done and there is no renewal. Raph, bro, real quick, man of the match from that game. Did you have Dybala as your man of the match?
Dybala's my man of the match.
Yeah, we all many of us had Dybala as man of the match, and now he is not renewal. Obviously, you needed a moment there. You had to walk away. You're back now. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario? Is this worst case scenario, Raph?
Bro, I fucking said this on the podcast. I can't remember when it was. I said, if the first player to leave this club is Dybala, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. We still have Rugani who's getting a renewal, De Sciglio who's getting a renewal, Bernardeschi who's getting a renewal. Who else is getting a renewal? Morata's getting renewed. We're keeping Morata, bro. And Dybala's the first player in this rebuild that we're shipping out. What is wrong with this club? If I don't see Joao Felix in the Juve kit next season, I'm going to lose it. If we get Raspadori next season to replace Dybala, I'm going to flipping throw this phone at my wall, bro.
So let's try and break this down in a sense of, do you think that offer was fair from Juventus? Let's look at it from this standpoint. Do you think that was a fair offer from Juve in terms of what they offered Dybala?
Well, I don't know what the last offer was in that.
And look, we got Ant's dropping by. There he is. New guy coming in. Big welcome. News, man.
Welcome.
Dybala not renewing.
Welcome.
Am I coming through okay? I was getting ready for work.
You're good.
I was like getting ready for work. Sorry, Raph, to cut in.
So good, bro.
About to fire up the email, get ready to get the workday started, and I saw this drop. I'm like, ooh, Raph's going to be upset about this one. I better jump in here.
Fired up, and I've switched how we're going to discuss this and break this thing down. Basically, in terms of the actual contract, do you think that was a fair offer that Juve put forth to Dybala?
$7.5 million plus bonuses. It depends on the bonuses. My whole thing, I kept mentioning every once in a while, was the imaging rights. That was something that was a sticking point back when he was being linked with Tottenham. Al, you know about imaging rights. Juventus is real sticklers about that. So that could have been a sticking point. My guess, it's all about money. He's maybe feeling he can get 10 million somewhere else. this is gonna implode Twitter, because now you're gonna have people saying, it's just all about the money. But is it about the money? None of us were in the meeting. This is going to be really interesting how the Juventini break this one down.
There was a big shift. There was a big shift in this thing, and it happened when they went to put pen to paper the first time. So everybody's got to think about this and take your minds back to that moment in time, because that was a critical moment. And basically it was critical because the deal was finalized. Everything was done. All they had to do was sign. And apparently, Dybala's agent goes in there and asks for a little bit more. There's two sides to every negotiation, but the offer, since that time, Dybala's missed more action. So he ended up missing more action and not being available in the critical moments. So it's tough. It's a very, very tough thing. I understand people saying that it's stupid to lose him for 1 million if that previous deal was agreed upon, but it actually wasn't. They dropped it from the original contract that was agreed in October. They dropped it more than that. And they added those incentives that were appearance based and bonuses since that meeting in October. So everybody has to take that into consideration. So why Paulo didn't actually agree, it's hard to put it just on the club, because the club gave him an ultimatum, and ultimately it was Arriva Bene saying, hey, this is your contract with that agent, and this is your contract without. I like the move. I think it was bold, because at the same time, like, this guy, they had a deal, and you can't get pushed around by the agents. And it was a silly thing for Dybala's agent to do in the first place. Yep. But I said this all along. People, I know it's still shocking that this happens and it goes down like this. But did this team really want to ever renew Paulo Dybala? You have to raise the question.
We did not. He's been wanting to renew since fucking 2019 when Paratici was trying to ship this guy out for fucking Lukaku. There is no way we wanted to renew this guy.
Exactly. This is my thing. Did this team ever truly want to renew Paulo Dybala? I don't think
I'm with Raph.
Ever. I don't think Paratici ever had the intention of re-signing him, because it never takes 3 years to renew any player that you have. Okay.
Yeah. This is going to be battle lines are going to be drawn here. So you have people supporting the player, people supporting the club. It's going to be hard to sort of stay in the middle on this one. Al, you brought up many times, how does he fit into Allegri's, 4-3-3 or whatever he wants to run? We've said a couple times he doesn't maybe quite fit. And I know you guys were talking about Rabiot and whatnot, but let's get through the summer mercato. For me, he is our best player. So it hurts in the sense that he is our best player. Yeah. I'm really torn about this one, because you want to support the club as much as you can. This is your best player, but the history is there. It's just, it was never a really great relationship the past couple of years. I don't know. I think this one's going to hurt in the short term, but in the long term, it opens us up for some other options. And this is a good point right here. Who's going to pay him the money? Somebody will.
Somebody will. Somebody will.
If he goes to Inter, oh my!
It just can't be.
If he goes there and wins a Scudetto next year, bro, someone's dying, bro. I promise you, someone's dying. Someone's dying. Well, if he wins a Scudetto there next year at Inter, someone's dying.
It's a little extreme, Raph.
They sell Dybala for 40 to 50 million. The fact
that's
that it's
the big one
is what bothers a lot of people.
The free is
I don't think we ever wanted to renew him. We almost shipped him to Tottenham, and he always wanted to stay. Exactly. I mean, it's been same story, different management in terms of the renewal, and I just don't ever see the intention to truly do it. Be there from Juve. All these words Nedved says and all this, but I don't believe Paulo will go to Inter Merda. I just can't. I can't see it. But you never know.
Different time. Lots of money.
This has totally changed the scope of this show today. Was not expecting that at all. But this is a reality. This is a reality of the modern game and what goes on. And
very true.
it's tough to wrap your heads around it right now, but that's what I said. It's been a possibility for quite some time this season. How long ago was it, Ant, that I started making these tweets that was, you know what, I see it happening now that he's not renewing.
January.
It was around January. I said I just don't see that intention there because there was no need to wait. And all these excuses that were coming out about, well, let's wait to see where we finish Champions League, all this, none of that matters. If you're gonna sign this guy, if Agnelli can say back in October or November, we are fine financially for this season and the next. You're telling me they had to wait until this guy's already 2 seasons ahead financially on his count, and you're telling me they had to wait to see where we finished in Champions League to sign Dybala? I'm not buying it. I was not buying it. This had disaster written all over it.
I want one thing though. I want Raph to say one positive thing about this move. What is there? Do you see any good coming out of this? Come on, think hard. You're a smart young man.
The Ligt isn't going to be sacrificed for money.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. Right
You know
now,
what?
you got the backbone now. Now you got De Ligt, Locatelli, Chiesa, Vlahovic. You got your backbone. You build around those 4.
Yeah,
not a bad thing, right? Rabiot out, Artur.
If
out.
Rabiot stays next season on 7 million a year and we didn't
No,
I'm gonna.
that's gonna get redone. That's way
my
too.
God.
Raph, that one's gonna get redone. That's crazy. But how many more? I think he has 2 more years on his contract. But the
If
thing
he's
about
not gone
Rabiot is,
this summer, bro.
the thing about Rabiot is, he's always healthy. He's always available.
Bro,
He's
a healthy
I'm saying-
Dybala
Okay.
is on 5 games a season is more useful
Stop,
than Rabiot.
stop.
I agree.
bro.
I agree. I'm just saying, managers. It's a good thing it's a good option for managers to have when they have a player who's always available. But we're not going to go down that road. He's gone
No.
this summer. Raph, I'm with you.
I'm not going down the Rabiot road right now because we still have to dissect this a bit here. In terms of replacements, this was another big key point about losing Paulo Dybala is who are you going to bring in that's going to basically take that spot or be as big a player for Juventus? Do we have to? Is it now going to be a shift to try and do it by the group?
Yes.
And so far, that was supposed to happen when Cristiano Ronaldo left, and this season it hasn't. And that was everybody step up by the group. And to an extent, I think it's fair to say it hasn't happened.
It was when everyone was healthy in like October, November. This season's a wash, man. The Ronaldo saga,
do you think
the
so,
Dybala
though?
saga.
Because even with everybody healthy, because we weren't scoring goals at all.
Well, they never really played with each other, right? And I know you and I have had these conversations that professionals, they should just be able to click. If you look at the past 5 games, I'm really worried about Raph. I think he needs a Tylenol. I'm like the past 5 games when we've had the set formation and set players, even though they're not the best players we've looked better, right? Hard to deny that. So starting next season through the summer market, I'm with you. I don't think the idea is to bring in a player. You're not going to replace Dybala 1-for-1. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do it with some sort of with a proper system and better role players than the ones that we have. You're not going to replace them. You can't.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately, Juve's been kicking the tires. We've seen it in the rumors on a lot of players.
They saw this coming.
And that's what's gotta happen. We just gotta wait and see. But I'll tell you what, to be honest, just honest. Number one, I've been the same no matter who. We've seen great players that have left in the past, and Juve keeps ticking. Okay, it'll be fine in the long term. But the thing is this is still it's a shock. It's a shock, no matter how you swing it.
Is it though? Is it?
For me, it was a possibility. I still thought Dybala would find a way to, make it work, but I guess not.
Sort of on the fence, right?
It is what it is. In terms of the replacements, I've yet to see that name that I'm like, okay. But if we think we haven't had Chiesa with us, And can he be that guy? Can he be that guy? He's a big player. He's a big player for us. Got to get him back in the line next season. See what happens. Look at that. There's been a lot of positives in the moves. This is one that it's funny to me because a lot of players give Dybala a lot of flack for the fitness and all these issues and whatnot. So it's hard because I bet you're going to see a lot of them that flip the script and start to overly criticize this team on the replacements. Don't do that, because if you were one that wanted Dybala out and you call him injury prone and all this, stick to your guns and tell me who's going to replace him next season. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Right now, it's still too fresh. A lot of emotions going, but Paulo Dybala not renewing for Juventus. It was a possibility, and now it has happened. How does this affect the team? I've said this other statement for a while, that Juventus either had to shit or get off the pot on this thing and figure out what they were doing, and they all need to figure it out and move past it because the distraction's crazy. And now, is it almost worse that they've figured it out now because we have, 8 games left in the season and still going for that Coppa Italia? How do you think it affects the team now with this being decided?
I'll start with this one because I think Raph's still deep in thought. I wouldn't be surprised if other players already knew that this was a possibility. Like, listen, this is business. This isn't you and I on our men's Sunday team, one of us switching teams and, hey, man, we can't drink beers anymore after the game. This is business. So this is a different level. They're professionals. I think I wouldn't be surprised if other players already knew that this was coming or was a possibility. You don't think players talk to each other about their contracts and what's going on like this? You can't be naive to that. So I think Dybala is going to play lights out from here on out. I think he's going to put it to management and say, oh yeah, you didn't want to pay me the money. And I think he's just going to go on some sort of run here and, stick it to them.
Yeah. Well, it'd be
wouldn't be surprised.
And it would even be nice at least to do that. And, I think he's the guy that would. I'd like to think that all professionals would go beyond that and still finish up strong.
Yep.
And even just as a last kind of, farewell to leave in that light that, you went lights out for us down the end and hopefully bring that Coppa Italia home. And who knows in Serie A, whatnot. Anything could still happen there. But Raph, how do you feel it impacts a team now with them deciding this with 8 remaining matches and a Coppa Italia still left to play? We need you back here with us, bro.
Come on, Raph. Let's go. Here, come on. I'm worried. I'm getting worried.
He's gonna show us why he fucking deserved the money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask Raph really quick. Is there a player that, if they bring in this player, it would kind of make you feel better about the whole situation?
The only player, if we're talking about a pound for pound replacement, is João Felix. I don't want to see Raspadori. I don't want to see Zaniolo as his replacement. I want to see João Felix from Atletico Madrid, because apparently he's not as comfortable there.
Is this Section 80 sources? Is this live Section 80 sources?
Oh, no. I still need to get my sources on board with that one. But because I think, I'm not sure, but I think João Felix, Allegri was a fan of his when he was at Benfica, because I remember we were linked to him before he went to Atletico. So I'm hoping that something will come out of that, because he's like a younger carbon copy nearly of Dybala in terms of playing in that hole behind the number 9. So I'll take him.
Now, this
interesting.
Going back to Ant when he's asking questions about some of the possibilities, is there any bright spot or whatnot? It can't be really excused that, and I'm guilty of defending Dybala for quite some time, especially in the years past, because he's been one of my favorite players on the team. But there's no real getting around the fact that he can be an issue positionally and sometimes formation-wise. Does this allow Juventus to find something simple think about what we've been asking Max to do and what we've been criticizing Max to do this season, which was find a system, find a setup that works for the players you have. And the funny thing is, while us as fans have been demanding that, each time Paulo Dybala has been coming back into the lineup, we're like, well, you can't go with this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird. So when you think about it, it's like we're crucifying Max for being in late March and not finding that system. But to be honest, maybe in turn, if we're looking for any kind of bright spots to it, we can keep it simple, stupid, right? And all of a sudden find like a 4-3-3, get Chiesa back, have some winger, get a winger, and go with a striker and two wingers and run a 4-3-3.
Yeah, this goes back. We've had lots of conversations about this, and again, it's wild news. I'm a Dybala fan. I'm also more of a Juventus fan. So, and it's hard to deny what you're saying there. Like sometimes he just doesn't fit. Now he is our best player, but you're not going to replace him 1-for-1. I just said it. I think this does open the door wide for bringing in more system players. You know, you can probably get 2 solid midfielders for his wages, right? You're going to get 2 players that can, play regularly for his wages. And I know it's really tough, man, because you're going to get both sides of the fence going at this one. And, Lucci's on one side. I can see him already.
Oh, he's already on one side. Lucci's been waiting for this ever since the Milan fashion show. The thing is SMS. I still see probably out of reach for Lotito's money and what he's going to want. So SMS is going to be out of reach. But I think if we wrap our heads around this and think this team can shape up just a standard 4-3-3 and get more players involved and keep it simple, might be okay the long run, because I'm not sold on this 4-4-2 into this 3-5-2 thing. I mean, I had question marks of it under Pirlo, and the funny thing is a lot of people crucified Pirlo for it and now are kind of fine with it that Max is doing it because Max is the experienced one. No, it's the same. It's the same. You crucify one coach for a hybrid system of 4-4-2, 3-5-2. Don't protect the next guy for doing it. It's not something I'm sold on. I'm sorry. And, people that are looking to the future with the Mercado and saying 3-5-2 is the way you're going to do it because you're going to bring in Rudiger and all this. I'm not sold on that. And now, especially with Dybala leaving, 4-3-3, man, get it to something clean. Let's get wingers. We have no attacking threats that can beat guys 1v1. And if you look at some of the better teams, what do? They have those threats on the left side and on the right side. Hopefully with Paulo, if you're going to look at a bright spot, hopefully we can just fill it with availability and make the formation simple, something that we could stick to. And maybe these young guys can play a part of as well, since we don't, for whatever reason, have some kind of faith in what we're doing. The other thing is the U23s, line up your systems. Line up your systems from the U23s to the senior squad so that if you get into a scenario like we had this season where guys are injured, you could pull these guys in and they're playing the same system at U23 level, that they can feel comfortable in their roles here. Because if we have to continue to run guys ragged, and if they are in fact having altercations with our manager over training schedules, for God's sakes, use a fresh set of legs if they're 19 years old, 20 years old, in a match against Salernitana on the abacus of stink from Anthony. It rates to 10. Salernitana is a 14.
Whoa. I had about 9.1. They're not maybe a 10. They could be the perfect terrible team they were awful.
But anyways, there's a lot of emotion going out.
This is going to be
it's huge.
This is wild, man. It's wild. Yeah, but I saw somebody in here put this is, Bernardeschi will depart to run. This is going to be interesting.
Please, he has to fucking go. If Dybala's walking out the door, Bernardeschi needs to be right fucking after him, bro.
Okay,
Guys,
okay.
let's switch
I
it
knew
to
this would
this.
set him up. Okay,
And switch it to this. I hope you were
Yeah.
going here, but out of the 5 guys that were going to renew, Dybala was one of them.
yeah.
Who do we actually see them renewing?
Okay, so we'll start with Bernardeschi. Bernardeschi is going to look at this and be like, well, shit, if they didn't give him an extra $1 million, they're not going to give me an extra $1 million. So he's either going to have to take the 2.5, whatever they're offering him, or get out. And I see that, like, yeah, Raph's already shown the door. So all the Bernardeschi fans, I don't mind him. I think he's a good player, but if he's gonna walk in there with his agent like Jerry Maguire and trying to, like, show me the money. It's not happening with Arriva Bennett and these guys. They just prove it. They just said, this is the offer. This is what you're worth. Take it or leave it. If they did that with Dybala, they're sure as hell going to do it with him. Pedin, I think they'll re-sign him. Weirdly enough, he's the one who I thought would be the one going out.
Weird situation. You're
Quadrado,
right, nailing it right on the head end.
Quadrado.
This was a major stand on from the management. Huge,
big time.
Quadrado is.
He's going to be a 1+1. I think he's going to be a 1+1. He's having an okay year. Some people say he's better than, he's another controversial kind of player. But he's going to be on probably a 1+1. Pedin, Sandro's out. They're not going to renew him. That's an easy one. And then the other one was De Sciglio. He'll get re-signed.
Yeah,
De Sciglio's going to get re-signed.
The only one out of all those, him and Quadrado, that I could see us actually re-signing. In terms of, there's a comment here from Cliff. Coleman started left wing. Go after Coleman with Keane as a backup. Here's the thing. I think Keane, they're already working on getting Keane out because Raspadori is supposed to be the replacement for Keane. I'm not. Dybala, this is a weird one. This is the big test for management, okay? Because Anthony nailed it on the head. This is a statement from them on how it's going to be moving forward. It is club above everything, and these are our terms. We're not getting bullied. Like, this is what it is. Take it or leave it. The big test for them now will be how you place Paulo Dybala. And so far, the names, they haven't hit a name that's like, okay, let's go and let's move forward with this. And that's going to be the part that's going to really be that measuring stick for them come summer.
You don't replace someone for
a big one.
You don't do it. You can't do it. You have to do it with above average role players.
Yeah,
that's how you got to do it.
If they're going to try to do it by a group, system, then the pressure ramps up on who? Max,
Vlahovic, and Max. Yeah, Vlahovic. He's the guy now, right?
So
and Chiesa. Well, listen, Chiesa is going to take a lot of load off of him when he gets back. Sorry, that sounded weird, but he's going to take a lot of the work off of Vlahovic when he gets back and healthy. So
yeah, Max is gonna.
I know Raph is still upset.
Things are gonna ramp up on these guys. I love it. But it's tough any way you look at it, and even though you prepare for it, you try to prepare yourself mentally for the possibility that he's going. I think deep down, everybody believed in that love for the club, right? Mm-hmm. And didn't see it happening, and that Paulo would do it. But to be honest, it's business from both sides. Club,
so it is. It's business.
Paulo's looking after his best interest, and you have to think about this too. He was talking to other teams. Mm-hmm. Juventus told him it's okay to talk to other teams. So think about this from Paulo Dybala's angle, everybody, before we, choose any sides. I'm not going to choose sides because I've come to terms. This is the thing. If he's already talking to other teams, Paulo Dybala, even though love of the club, all this, he's been injured how many times in such short period of time? Do you think Paulo Dybala is not going to take the highest offer no matter who it comes from? At 28, 29 years old, starting to get a concern with fitness, do you think there's not going to be a team that gives him close to the money he wants without these implications to steal him away from Juventus, absolutely there would be a team that would do it.
Well, how many teams outside of England can do it? Maybe 5. Inter would do it.
Inter would do it.
Bayern? No, maybe not. No, Barcelona's going to probably do it.
Please end up there, man. Just not Inter.
Yeah, I'm with you, Raph. I'm with you.
I think it's going to be Barcelona.
Back to the point. There's going to be a team that pays him probably even that money, even just the money Juve offered without those incentives to get him. I'm not even doubting that. And there was a lot of Juventini that would say there aren't any clubs that are going to pay him the kind of money that we want to. His final offer was not even much more than what he's getting now. It's almost on par. It's just had bonuses that set him over the top, but they were all incentive based. All another team had to do was give him more with less incentives. And I guarantee you that there's a team that would do it. And
100%.
The other thing is, why wouldn't Dybala go and take that given his recent track record?
Go get your money, kid.
Yeah, it's a business. It's a business on both sides. It hurts and it sucks because we've grown up with Paulo, since he came in 2015 there, straight from Palermo. And, Max has said it yesterday. He came to us a boy. He's grown up. It is what it is. Life goes on, man. I've seen the likes of Zidane, Baggio go, and you pick up the pieces, you move on, and there'll be somebody else. There will be somebody else.
See, over here
can be that somebody else.
Over here in North America, you and I are a little bit more numb to it, maybe, Al, because in the major sports over here, the NHL, the NFL, you see these huge talents like Peyton Manning, whoever you want to put, even LeBron James changed teams. Like, we see it sort of more often, so maybe we're a little bit more numb to it. In major football, this is sort of a new thing. Actually, it's still kind of new over here as well. But this thing of where the player is its own business is sort of a new kind of concept. So, hey, he's going to get his money. He's going to get broken off somewhere, man. He's going to go make a lot of money somewhere else. And I think his imaging rights was a big thing as well.
Yeah. Georg's got a point here that, you're paying Rabiot $7 million, yet we offered Dybala $6 and whatnot.
You got to get over the Rabiot thing. Everyone's got to get over it.
I get it.
That contract was made by someone who's no longer here. Get over it. We know who Rabiot is.
Yeah.
We know what his contract is. Everyone's got to get over it.
And the whole point is that they're getting away from that. And they've literally, Arriva Bene said that's not, right. But some of the rumors lately kind of contradict that, but that's neither here nor there. Dan, we're going to bring this up, and don't take any of the opinions that come from this to heart. It's just what you've said here is a great discussion point, and that's he thought Dybala was different, but he's in it for the money. Very disappointing. I don't know if, to be honest, again, I thought I painted a pretty good picture in saying that, hey, you've got a 29-year-old player that's had a recent history and bad track record with injuries. If he can make his money guaranteed, so if somebody could come in with close to the same money or more without the incentives Juve proposed, which are appearance based, it makes sense for him to take it at this stage of his career. He's not getting any younger, and that's a risk. So if we want to look at it from that angle that, he's leaving the club, love of the club, it's all about money. Well, to them, it's their job. For us, it's a hobby.
$4 million. $4 million. If another company came to me and said, we'll give you 4 million euros more a year for what you're doing, I'm gone. Think about it. Put that in your own life. If another company came to you, Al, and said, we're going to give you an extra $100,000 a year, you're going to tell your boss, I'm out of here.
I'm not going to lie. I've been poached from jobs many times. And you know what? When you're raised, like I'm raising a family, I've got a wife, I got kids, I got a home. Like you could say, I love the place I was at before.
Yep.
I love the place I was at before, but it changed my life making that switch.
Money is money.
It has to be done.
People got to put themselves in the player's situation. Like, you almost can't. It's almost like so hard to think about that. It's they have a finite amount. I've said this so many times. They have a finite amount of time to make their money, and they have to maximize that time to make their money. Now, okay, love of the club, blah 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 blah. We love the club.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dybala loves the club too. You can't say players don't love the club, but like if someone wants to pay him an extra, if he thinks he's worth another 4 to 5 million euros a year, I'm gonna go get my money.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And he says, and this is a comment saying we're talking about players that are already rich, but again,
but you can be more rich.
It's their livelihood.
Right.
It's their money. It's their life. It's their setup beyond. It's still the scope of how much we make.
Yeah.
Regardless, at the end of the day, it's your income.
Yep.
And you trying to maximize that.
Yep,
Love of the club and all this. I mean, to be honest, to flip this on this particular way to look at it, where has been the love for this player in return?
It's both ways. It's been
where has it been in return? This contract renewal didn't start this season. Okay. He's been asking for a renewal since prior to his MVP season with Sarri. He's been trying to renew and extend with Juventus. There was a time Paulo Dybala said, I want to just only play for Juventus. And then what happened and what shifted was the club never reciprocated that. Okay. Marotta was the only one that probably would have reciprocated that. Mm-hmm. And he got pushback at the start and they said, hold off. And then when Marotta went and Paratici came in, there was absolutely zero coming from the club. Absolutely zero reciprocation of that love from the club. So in the long run, what can you really do? We can't sit here and, be upset about it, kick about it. It is what it is. This is the way it went down. When you look back and you put all the pieces together, it's not as shocking as still reading it and seeing it. And you're like, okay, now it's over. Now it's over.
I just saw in our little chat there, I just saw, actually I got a message from one of our team members that said people are getting upset about a player that doesn't know that we exist. Dybala doesn't know us.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Now, I'm, okay, I would have loved that he stayed, but at the end of the day,
at the Champions League exit, I told everybody Lucci. The same thing I'm about to tell you now. Do not let things out of your control affect your well-being in your personal life. Don't get that fired up about it, okay? Juventus continues to move on, okay, and move forward.
Raph? Yeah. What do you say? Oh, Raph, over here.
Does Morata absolutely stay now? I don't think he absolutely stays.
Raph.
You guys are trying to piss me off, bro. Get a question off the screen. I don't even want to discuss if Morata stays, but I don't even want to discuss it.
So negative. It's Monday morning. It's the start of the week. It's a new week. Okay, big news. It's a fresh start, man. Come on. You gotta look at this as a fresh start.
This is the worst way to start the week, especially the international
for some
break.
people. It's an international break.
I
forgot about that.
I think
2 weeks. This is gonna be 2 weeks of this.
Dude, getting this drama over with is going to be refreshing in its own, I just hope we don't replace it with more nonsense and just move on to another guy and make another scapegoat and do all this because honestly, like the perception that Paulo Dybala carried for a lot of this last bit has been pretty brutal for what he's actually given to Juve over these years. So I'll remember him for all the goals, the stats, the numbers, and he's been one of my favorites. I don't know. I got probably 4 Dybala kits in here and whatnot. I'll be putting one up on display in honor of Dybala. The replacement, this is going to be big, but we have to look at this properly. And Georg, this is a great point because people will probably pick out one of these replacements and be like, this is supposed to replace Dybala. That might not be it.
No,
it could be a committee thing. We don't know yet. We have to wait and see, but let's all try and remain calm. and see what goes
Raph,
down. We
Raph,
got
main
time
comment.
for this show completely shifted from the Salernitana match into this Dybala crazy, and rightfully so, because it's big news. But in terms of management, after this Champions League exit, and Raph, we were talking about the one hope that we could always go back to recently was given to us in January, and it was by this management team, and it was how they acted. Do you still I still feel good because of what they showed me in January. I still have a good feeling. Okay. I know based on how, you reacted, Raph, and all this, and that the fact is Dybala, but do you still feel positive in general with this management?
No.
This move changes that.
This club, again, from everything I'm seeing, is just planning in the short term. I don't see any long-term commitments. We're targeting players that are in their 30s. Gravenberch is already apparently on his way to Bayern right now. Pogba's looking to come in on a free. Jorginho, Rudiger, these are all 30-year-old players. We're fixating on the short-term project to try and overcome this Champions League hurdle. In my opinion, I'm not seeing any hope in what this management has for the long term at the moment, yo.
Hang on. De Ligt, Locatelli, Vlahovic, Chiesa. They're all under the age of 23.
Rovella's probably coming next season. Rovella.
I'm sorry. If we're getting Jorginho, Rovella's never touching that pitch. He's never touching the pitch.
But you're again, the management is kicking the tires on a lot of these guys. None of these have been finalized. We don't actually know what's going to be locking down.
I'm also seeing the thing of if a nice offer comes in for De Ligt, he's at the door as well. If an offer that, well, are you sure?
Well, look at. Can you not? You could. It's right there on the screen. Look at the spine of the team. They're all under the age of 23. You can't say this team is getting older. Now, some of the pieces are older, but you have De Ligt, Chiesa, Vlahovic, Locatelli. That's 5, 6, 7 years of those core players.
I give that spine 3 years. One of those players are going to be gone by 2025.
Okay, then we'll replace it with another young player. Like I don't know.
I think the days of locking down guys they're kind of gone, man. That's not just for football. That's all sports. Yep. Very, very rarely are you going to get these guys that are locked in like that for a long period of time. It's tough to happen.
Starts winning trophies. If this group starts winning trophies, you don't think they're going to want to stay?
We'll see if we win trophies. We'll see.
We'll have to see. It's
got to start winning trophies, though.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. We'll see. But if you start winning, why would they leave?
We need to start winning first.
Raph, if Dybala chooses Inter and signs,
well, you'll be fine.
You can't put that on the club. Would it sour your taste of Dybala?
It will only sour my taste if he's had other options and he chooses to go there. If it's a case where there's no other club that's in for him and Inter are the only team that are interested in him, then I'll be like, well, like he can't just not play football.
I think it shows. I think it shows that it's business, man.
If that's it, if he's genuinely looking at like a Barcelona offer and an Inter offer and at similar wages, and he chooses Inter, then that's a completely different story. I'm gonna be more pissed at Dybala than anything.
I hear you.
Inter brings him that much closer to that Milan fashion show. He's like right down the street.
I think
turn that down.
I think it shows you that it's business if he ends up doing that, and we have to, kind of look at that from our management standpoint. I still have faith in this management, man. I see the road they're going down. All the things that we've complained about, they've kind of addressed. And to be honest, whether we weren't on the side of making those complaints about Dybala, which was the injury prone, which was are we going to commit this money to this guy? Can he be that focal point? All these doubts. I guess Juve was on that side of the spectrum with Dybala, and they had doubts too, and they changed their mind accordingly in terms of the contracts. And I mean, I said it, as much as I love Paulo Dybala and I've been a big fan, it was hard to defend a lot of those. It's hard to defend a lot of those circumstances.
I'll put it this way, Al. Actually, I'll let Raph answer this question. Do you think this management would sign Rabiot to 7 million euros a year?
Definitely not.
They're already your winners in my books then.
That's why I love Ant, because you could just narrow it down and show you a positive just like that. I'm really behind this management, regardless of what went down here. It's for them, they have a clear, distinct plan. Okay. I'm not as concerned in this management as I am, to be honest, Max being that guy. Because Max says that he and the management are in line 100%. Max said he wanted Allegri to be the focal point. I want to remind everybody of this too. Max said when he came back, Paulo Dybala is going to be his focal point, and he was going to be the captain of this team.
He tricked us.
Max, it was reported, Max has also become increasingly frustrated, with Paulo and the fitness and all this. And we have to remember, Max has say in the moves. Do you think Max had no part to play in the contract renewal? Do you think if Max came out and said, no, Paulo has to stay, that they would have went the route that they did?
No, they're still dropping him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he has some say. I don't think he has. Miracle brought up on our call there in January. Allegri has a lot of pull with this team, but I think with this player, maybe with
Miracle said Max gives the yes and no.
Yeah, but I think with this player, I think it would have been
they go to Max and they say, hey, this is what we're looking at, and he'll say, yeah. Or he'll say, no.
Interesting. I don't know.
So if management was going to do this with Paulo Dybala in this contract, you think Max had nothing, wasn't even asked?
I think he was asked, but I don't think he was the final guillotine on this one. I don't think it was a group.
No, I don't think he was like,
but yes,
push him out the door. But I think he was like, hey, I understand if he doesn't accept it, he's out. But my point is, if Max turned around and said, no, he has to stay, do you think management would have acted that same way? I don't think they would have.
Max would have to make a really compelling argument as to why they should. He would have PowerPoints and everything, man. He'd have to bring in I don't know, have show tunes playing in the background or some shit. But I don't know, man. I think this was a long time coming. I just don't think he was in the plans. I think the number on the books, I think they're looking at getting 2 players for him. Get Rabiot off the books. You can get 1.5, 1 good player, really good player, 2 above average players for Rabiot. I think we knew this was a full rebuild. And when you're in a rebuild, sacrifices have to be made. And the ball is being sacrificed for the rebuild. Got to get over it.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But we'll move. We'll move. We always do. We'll just have to, like I said, pressure ramps up now in terms of how the team acts and what ends up happening. Inter and Atletico Madrid have already shown interest in Dybala as a free agent. Marotta and Simeone love La Hoya, and they're preparing bids as we speak. In terms of Bernardeschi, far from renewing his contract with you.
Okay.
You see, Raph?
I heard his name and I started seeing red.
Okay. Far from renewing his contract with Juventus, asking for a 4-year deal at the current conditions, 4.2 plus bonuses. Juve have put a 3-year deal at 3 million. So
make it 2.
They're far from it.
2+1, 2-1, 2-1.
So this changed the scope of this show. None of us anticipated that we would get that news. You would probably expect it to be drug out until the end of the season and then either say goodbye or, hey, he's renewing. It is what it is. Is
like
this
the Beatles said, man?
finally
Hey, like
Juve going to be going into this rebuild properly? Is this finally going to be them doing this rebuild? Because we've always talked about them trying to hang on and whatnot. Are we going to see more of a fallout? Are we going to see Chiellini gone? Are we going to see next season? I know Chiellini has said that based on what happens with the Azzurri, he could try to get another year, but I'm going to be honest. I think he's done with Juve, to be honest. We need availability, man. We need guys. We need to start taking that next step. You can't have a guy like Bonucci and Chiellini both around any longer. I'm sorry. I love Chiellini, but I love him.
Go ahead, Raph.
You can't. You have to move on.
I've been saying this for years, man. Like, it's cool, keep them in and around the squad, but start to build with starters. Don't buy young players to bench them for Chiellini and Bonucci. The most frustrating thing is seeing that we had De Ligt, Romero, and Demiral all in the squad at the same time. One got loaned out, one was made a substitute. Now we're only left with De Ligt. My biggest fear was, we're going to lose De Ligt in the summer and go back to having Chiellini, Bonucci, and Rugani as our centre-backs for the next year. That would have been the worst thing. But what I'll say is that I don't, like, after Dybala, I don't want to see Chiellini shipped out to the MLS. I want to see him retire here. At least show us that you can honor people who have served your club, man. If Chiellini retires here, I'll be happy, man.
Leaving the club for the MLS is basically retiring. Like, it's okay. He wants to go make some money. He'll basically retire and then go.
But it just was like Del Piero going to Australia, man. Like it just feels like
money. So listen, like the Beatles said, you say goodbye, I say hello. Listen, players are going to be leaving. I would like to keep one of Bonucci or Chiellini next season if we bring in a young center back.
Keep Chiellini, man. Bonucci,
look how much I would say, like, De Ligt was already a great player, but look how much he's grown with those two beside him. So I would say having one of them around to find De Ligt's partner, whoever that player is, young or old, whoever it is, I would say keep one of them next season. And I agree. I think Chiellini would be done. Love Chiellini. I think he has a jersey up there somewhere. Actually, no, he's one of the ones I actually wear. So. I agree with you. He's going to be gone next season.
It's tough. It's
go make some money.
A lot to process right now. You're going to see a ton of video comps out there on social media for Dybala and whatnot. Just getting ready to say goodbyes. Is what it is.
At least it's only 8 games left. At least it's like it wasn't like in January and we have to wait half a season. 8 games, some Coppa Italia games.
Man, fun. Alex, you have obviously missed the entire show. If you're telling me not to be sad, you've missed the entire show.
This guy right here is a little.
Yeah, man. No, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I could see it coming a mile away.
These good books, man. I can tell
Alex, go back to my tweets. Go back to my tweets where I was calling it. This is the signs have been there for a while that there's no intention to renew, and there was no real intention to accept something lower. And the other thing is too, Dybala was given an ultimatum and he never gave away the one thing that he was asked to, which was his agent. So without that, you could kind of see it. And it was a weird thing to ask, but it was a power stance by the club, Arriva Bene. And I don't know if it was Arriva Bene deflecting into maybe put onus more on Dybala, because it can be viewed in many different ways. Raph was a perfect example of how the club might want to protect themselves in image and perception when you're dealing with a fan favorite. It's tough.
You can't ask a player to get rid of his agent. Like, come on.
I know, but they did. They said, here's your offer with him. Here's your offer without. Arriva Bene made it. It was a strong, bold move, but it really painted the picture of, for me, they have no intention.
Riva Band was just hacking butts in that meeting room.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Life will go on. This was a wild episode. Again, we covered the match at the start, and then as we get into our man of the match, which was Paulo Dybala, then news broke out that Paulo Dybala.
No, he doesn't deserve it anymore. Fuck him.
Life goes on. The nice thing, everybody, you'll have a lot of time to reflect on your thoughts about how you feel about this, because we're going into a break. Okay, going into a break. We'll be back April 3rd for the match against Inter. Quick reminder, everybody, while you're here, like the video. Okay, if you're new, subscribe to the channel. It's your one-stop shop for everything Juventus. Check out our sponsor, stripedheartsapparel.com. Okay, the link or the website is just right above the sad guy's face here on the screen. And yeah, show some love, support the pod, support the channel. I will be bringing you news videos here on out every day, just keeping you in touch with the news surrounding Juve as we gear up to the couple moves down there. Hey, we've moved on from big players in the past. It's going to be the same now. Faith in management shouldn't fade because of this, everybody. Strong January. Let's see what they can do in the summer. You've got even the people that love Paulo, that have defended him throughout all this time, have to admit there are some concerns there. Okay. Can we now correct it? Can we now correct them? We'll see. We'll see what happens. The people that have been wanting the club to move on from Dybala, now we'll see their wishes, and we'll see how it acts. But life does go on after players leave. We will see. Dan Lucci. So Lucci and Anthony, for our friends and subscribers in the Toronto region and Greater Toronto area, for Inter and Juventus, we will be having a live all Juvecast watch party at Cafe Juventus in Toronto. There will be a ton of prizes, giveaways, and cool stuff from Striped Hearts Apparel. We're going to have a lot of fun. Make sure you reach out to us and book your spot. Okay, there's limited seating.
It is limited.
And we want to have a good time. And some of you will be brought on to the show and be able to react at halftime of the match and full time. As
with you
guys are going to be recording while I do a live reactions video. Okay, so make sure you guys check it out and drop by and reach out so you can get your spot. Well, happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday, Raph.
What a way to kick off the week. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But there'll be more to follow. I'll keep you in the loop on the news. And there will be something focused on the Azzurri, as, of course, the playoff games come up. And that'll probably be through our stoppage time. So if you aren't already, follow Stoppage Time by AJC on YouTube. We'll probably do some with Cliff for the Azzurri. Okay, guys. It's always, no matter what, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Believe me, I've been through this. Okay? It's going to be okay. Raph, pick it up, bro. Pick it up. It's okay.
Yo, guys,
it's okay.
Can I say something real quick?
Fino alla fine,
imagine if you,
always club above everything. Trust me.
Yo, guys, imagine if you close the game against Inter Milan. Like
time heals everything. Time heals everything, and you guys have a lot of time. 2 weeks until the match. Let's go. Ciao tutti.